Morning. It is Tuesday Talks at 10:30. Welcome to everyone who is here today. I am always so humbled at you showing up on Tuesday and listening to Tuesday Talks at 10:30. So I'm grateful that you're here for this Tuesday Talks at 10:30. This is a moment in time that was created several years ago, a time where we can explore your spiritual path. We touch upon many, many subjects from grief and connecting to the spirit world and to your higher conscience, and so much more. So, whether you're live, on replay, or watching the blog, you've come at the exact moment that you were meant to be here. So, welcome. I'm glad that you were here. Welcome back to all the returning connecting tribe. And if this is your first time, welcome to the connecting family. I just want to pull this up. I know this is a pain in the butt when I do this. Okay. So I am spiritual healer, author, retreat facilitator, keynote speaker, and evidential medium, Stacy Niedenthal. And I wear many spiritual woo-woo hats. But you know what my passion is? My passion is to meet you where you are in your journey of healing and growing and expanding. So this month we are discussing several different things like personal power and soul purpose. We'll be focused on leadership and courage, authenticity, confidence, and focusing on life purpose. I'm going to incorporate fire energy and empowerment this month. You won't want to miss a week. And if you've already missed a few, you can go back to the YouTube channel and rewatch them. So let me know that you're here. Say hello, good morning, how are ya? Let me know that you are where you're watching from. And if this is the first time that you're watching, put a 1 in the comments so that I can personally welcome you later after we get offline. Okay. Hopefully we are on. So, last week we spoke about spiritual leadership and how your scars are part of your story. Today we're going to go into speaking about spiritual confidence. It feels like walking on sunshine. It's learning to trust yourself even when you can't see the whole path. And that's what we want to delve into today. Now, we discovered that the broken pieces in our life doesn't disqualify us to lead. Let's expand upon confidence in the path. So within our lives, we have ups and downs. We learn to gain insight every single day. Every day there's a lesson to learn. Every day there is a lesson to teach. Spiritual confidence is when we come into this aligned inner trust in our own connection to the divine, to our intuition, and to the spiritual path, even if you don't have all the answers. How many times have you heard people say, well, I can't do this or I can't do this until I have it perfect? That's not what your spiritual path is about. That's not what spiritual alignment is about. That's not what spiritual confidence is. It's learning and growing as you're on the path. It becomes this calmness within you, this grounded knowing that's within you. It's your spiritual experiences and your connection to something greater. It's when that becomes real and trustworthy and guiding you into the right direction. And like I said, you don't always need to know exactly what that direction is. You just have to trust the process. So I want to break it down point by point of what spiritual confidence feels like. How many are with me? Say, yes, I'm with you. So it's that inner trust. You've gained a belief in your intuition, and you have these spiritual nudges or whispers without constantly second guessing yourself. You just know that you know that you know. How many know? Alignment. You start to feel in sync and connected with your values, your purpose, and the energy around you. You may no longer be concerned what other people think. There's this calmness, this calm assurance. Even during chaos and uncertainty, you sense and you know you're being guided and supported. Again, you just know that you know that you know. You feel authentic. We talked about this last week or the week before. The week before. You freely express your beliefs without fear of judgment or needing validations from others. You also don't judge other people's beliefs and know that they don't need your validation. There's this new resilience within you. Good morning. Challenges don't shake your faith. They deepen it. And there's a clarity. You're able to discern what feels spiritually true versus what doesn't. Any of that click with you right now? In saying all of this, know that it is not arrogance, superiority, or believing that you have all the answers all of the time. It is none of that. It's a quiet, steady, and deeply personal knowing. It's more than a soft whisper in your heart. Instead of this loud proclamation. We get excited when we learn something new and we want to just shout it from the mountaintops. But when we come into this spiritual confidence, that proclamation gets softer. Spiritual confidence grows when you've spent time listening inward. When you've started to explore and question your beliefs. And you start to notice how your experiences shape your life. It's a point where your spirituality stops being something that you try to understand and becomes something that you live from. I have a lot of clients that will come in and say, I keep seeing this and I keep seeing this. Is my loved one sending me a message? What are they trying to say to me? Maybe they're just saying hello. So when you have confidence in your spirituality, you stop trying to understand and you live from the point of it just is. Every single one of us is building confidence in something one way or another. Building it spiritually means you begin to notice symbolic guidance. And there's this art of letting the universe speak to you through signs, patterns, and metaphors. You begin to learn how to interpret them with clarity instead of confusion. Will they always be the same? No. Will you always know exactly what they mean? No. And it's not always easy to interpret them because of learned traits. Because we were taught to be skeptical of everything. We were taught to not let our imagination get away from us. So they're not always easy to interpret. We have these thoughts constantly of ourself that may not always be great. So it's pushing those through what you're learning. You don't just say, things happen for a reason. You start to tune in with and notice the symbolic guidance. You begin to pause and listen to those inner whispers. That's your intuitive interpretation of signs, synchronicities, symbols that appear in your life, offering you direction, affirmations, and insights. And they're different for everybody. There are books and books and books on this is what this means in a dream, and this is what this is. But I honestly feel that is the author's interpretation. Could it mean that? Absolutely. But if it means something different to you, you're not wrong. You've come to the point where you recognize it's not a freaking superstition. Because the patterns are recognizable. They resonate within you and they communicate to you energetically and spiritually. Of course, there are main channels through which symbolic messages appear in repetitious ways. So I'm going to ask you a question. And I really want you to think about it. How many times is it a coincidence until it's not? How many times can you push it off and say, oh, that's a coincidence? How many times? If it happens over and over and over again, how can it be a coincidence? The only coincidence is that you noticed it and you were supposed to. So when you start to observe these things and trust them, that's when this confidence starts to beam from the inside out. I want you to pause and think about how many times Spirit, God, angels, the universe has showed up for you in these ways. Okay, ready? And if you've received any of these, put it in the comments. Synchronicities. They're repeated numbers, phrases, or events that align too perfectly to be random. I had a friend of mine come to the shop the other day, and she goes, I pulled in at exactly 3:33, and I was in space 33. Hello? Spirit was knocking on their door. Have you had animal messengers? Animals appearing in dreams, in real life, imagery, symbolic meaning? Yep, I got it all the time. Yes, absolutely. So animals are part of this. Depends on what you're connected to. Dream symbols. I put a post up this morning, last night, I'm not sure. How would you want to receive messages? Through signs or dreams? And most people want to say dreams because they're real. They feel like a real hug. So dream symbols can be objects, places that carry messages and symbols and feelings. Don't get caught up on what's the message, what are they trying to tell me? Just feel into it and say, oh, they said hello. Signs in nature, constantly seeing 11:11. I love that. Signs in nature, weather shifts, feathers, stones, natural patterns that feel meaningful. My cousin finds heart stones all the time. And I'm not just talking like 10 or 15, like she has a menagerie of them. Those are signs in nature. When we first opened up our shop, the day of our open house, there was a praying mantis on the post walking into the shop, and I took a picture of it. And in that picture, I've used it a couple times in posts, there's this light beam that goes down through it. I know it was my mom saying, I'm here for your open house. Signs in nature. Emotional signs. Sudden feelings of intuitive hits that act as symbolic cues. So what do I mean by that? Chills, goosebumps. Feels like tugs at your hair, or that your hair is staticky. A feeling of not going somewhere, or feeling of going somewhere. This deep breath saying, I need to move forward, or oh, I need to back up. Those are emotional signals. This is all signs and symbols from the universe. And I want to tell you about how you can interpret them in your own way. There's these classic imageries, symbols like keys or doors or bridges or light that represents deeper truths. These symbolic messages don't come with instructions, my friends, because they're different for everybody. Check in. What does it mean to you? You decode them through your intuition, by noticing the patterns and becoming aware of how it feels when it shows up. Is it repetitive? Is it emotionally intensive? Symbolic guidance rarely appears once. Check how it resonates with you. What does the symbol make you feel? What emotional reaction do you have? That emotional, energetic reaction or response, that's the key interpretation. I have clients and friends ask me, oh, I saw a feather, and I think it was. I always stop them and say, when you saw the feather, what did you feel? What did you see? Oh, I thought about my mom. Guess what? Mom's saying hello. I saw the feather and I really didn't think anything. Then it was just a feather. Not everything is a symbol. And not everything is a coincidence. Symbols speak in metaphors. I love metaphors. I love visuals. I'm a very visual person. So for those visual people out there, a key. Did you see the key in your head as soon as I said a key? It could symbolize opportunity or access or unlocking some type of potential. So if a key shows up, what does it feel like? What did you see? What did you think about? Where did your energy go to? A bridge may symbolize transition or moving from one face to another. And a white feather, that could also symbolize protection and reassurance. So your subconscious notices patterns long before your consciousness does. Why? Because of learned traits. We were taught how to be human. We weren't taught how to be subconscious. Yes? So symbolic guidance in your intuition uses imagery, signs, symbols, to communicate exactly what words cannot. It's a conversation between your inner world and your outer world. So to practice, I'm always going to give you some practices. Using symbols, set an intention in the morning. Ask the universe for a symbol that will support your day to your highest and best good. And then just be aware all day. Be open to patterns, animals, numbers, and imagery. Don't search for them. Be aware. Then in the evening, reflect on your day, because you may have missed it during the day. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, a set of keys just showed up on my desk. Write down any symbols and what they might mean or what they do mean to you. Don't overthink it. That's the humanness. Don't overthink it. Feel into it and write. Allow the subconscious to come in through your energy, through your hand to your pen on your paper, and just write. Guess what? Over time, themes emerge. Guidance becomes clearer and more consistent. Will it change? Abso-freaking-lutely, it will change. They're going to keep you on your toes. So finding your animal symbol doesn't mean identifying, I said that wrong. Finding your animal symbols means identifying the creatures that constantly show up in your life, in your dreams, in your emotions, and in your intuition. The ones that are acting as messengers for your spiritual path. Hold on one second. I've been thinking about certain things and they show up on my feed or on my TV. It's amazing. Exactly. So, what was I talking about? Oh, noticing animals. It may be in real life, in dreams and conversations, in art. Random media, just like you were saying, it just shows up. If an animal keeps showing up, it is not random. They're ringing the doorbell, waiting for you to open the door. Go back and reflect. Track your emotional reaction. How did I feel? Your strongest animal symbols will evoke a feeling of fascination, of comfort, maybe fear, curiosity, or recognition. Emotion is the intuitive signal. Emotion, because your body knows something before your mind knows it. I want you to think about your earliest instincts. The first thing that you thought about, the first thing you felt, because those are the purest ones. They haven't been interrupted by your humanness going, nah, that can't be. Yes, it can be. Observe this. Be sure that if an animal comes into your dreams, to observe it. Now, how do you observe it when you're dreaming? You don't have any control of where your dream goes, but yes, you do. Because even after the dream is over, you can close your eyes and observe that animal. They are powerful messengers. They bypass logic and sneak directly into your subconscious. Think about it. Anybody who has animals, do they have boundaries? No. They just show up. You can't see Roxy, but she's right down here. She snuck in today. She bypassed the door. They bypass that logic and that speaking, because they speak directly to your subconscious. And sometimes an animal appears at a meaningful moment. During stress, a transition, decision making. That timing is guidance, not coincidence. So I thought, and I know we've talked about spirit animals before, but I just love talking about spirit animals. So some animals that are common symbols that people encounter is the wolf. The wolf represents intuition, independence, loyalty. I always like to think that loyalty and the wolf mean I'm running with the pack. So my pack is who I am loyal to. An owl, it's wisdom, perception, hidden truth. They see at night. So even in the darkness, they have perception. Think about a deer. Gentle, sensitive, emotional intelligence, but they also are quick and graceful. For those of you who know Denise, butterfly, transformation, rebirth, and joy. And I'll take this moment to give her a little bit of a plug. She's been posting about her monarchs that she raised. And if you're in the Bel Air area and want to release a monarch, watch her page. She'll let you know how many she has. And you can come and release one. The hawk, that represents clarity and focus and spiritual messages. Bear is strength, grounding, introspective, but nurturing. Think about what they always tell you. Never get in the line, in between the line of a baby cub and mama bear. Strength, nurturing. The fox is adaptable and clever and strategic. And then the turtle, patience, wisdom, steady growth. Always carrying its home with you, with them. So I have always been drawn to the Phoenix. I even feel like when I get to Phoenix, Arizona, that I'm home. It feels different. And it comes up for me quite often. And the Phoenix is said to be one of the most powerful animal symbols. And it's one of the most that I have the biggest emotional reaction to. Rising from the fire. I've had a lot of fires in my life, but I'm still here. When I look at the animal, when I look at the Phoenix, it isn't just an animal. It's this archetype that means to me rebirth and transformation, destruction and creation and spiritual evolution. When the Phoenix shows up, it usually means that life is entering a phase where the old self is burning away so that the new self can rise. I love that. For those of you who know me, I have always had this phobia of bats that is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And they will come to you also in phobias. So notice what you are afraid of. I've come to recognize this spiritual meaning of the bat, which helped to lessen my phobia. I'm still not wild about them, but I don't freak out when I see them. The spiritual meaning behind the bat is this shamanic death of something so that rebirth of something else can come in. I fought that all of my life. I needed to be a certain way. I needed to act a certain way. And the bat scared me. I had to realize I no longer needed to please the world and others and be what they thought. I needed to be me. So when I think about the Phoenix and the bat and their similar meanings, it's no wonder that I am drawn to both. One in strength and wisdom, and the other one was in fear. Because the Phoenix represented rising from it, where the bat represented letting something go. Transformation, shedding your old identity, beliefs, or emotional patterns to walk into rebirth. Something new is emerging in your life, a new path, a new mindset, a new version of yourself. Inner fire. You carry this intense, spiritual, energetic passion, whether you know it or not, and you are resilient. The Phoenix and the bat also represent a cycle of completion. The chapter, praise God, is ending so that something more aligned can enter. There's this spiritual ascension. You're leveling up spiritually, often after a hardship or emotional intensity. I have a comment that says, I love spirit animals. My cat appeared 8 months after I lost my cat. I was devastated. My daughter had a cat that she had just gotten and had a playmate for her other cat. Oh, I can't see it all. And they didn't get along for a week, but kept wanting me to take her. But I said, no, I can't. One day she brought the cat. All I needed to do was see it, laugh out loud, and of course I fell in love. And I have no doubt it's my soul cat. Absolutely. She picked you. I love when animals just show up at your home. They pick you. Have you ever watched, and I could watch this for hours, where the people sit in this circle at kennels. I can't think what the right name is. And they tell everybody that you either have a mask on or your eyes are closed and your hands are on your legs and you're not supposed to talk. And they release an animal, a dog or a cat, and the dog comes out and it chooses the owner. Spirit animals choose you. And I tell you all of this spiritual confidence. I tell you about the bat and the phoenix. I tell you about not thinking things are coincidence. Because when I was walking into my spiritual path, I didn't have spiritual confidence. I had imposter syndrome. Why me? Am I crazy? What the heck is going on? How many of you have thought that before? Say yes. Those were the questions that were circling in my head because of learned traits. Can't be me. I'm not worth this. I didn't think I was worthy. I was broken. I was confused. But those things that broke me and confused me were suffocating me in depression and anxiety. How could I trust my path when I could not trust anything surrounding me? But then I realized something. Maybe the problem wasn't that I didn't trust my spiritual path. Maybe I hadn't learned to trust myself. I was looking from the outside of myself for permission. Outside of myself, I needed others to give me permission, for validation, for someone to say to me what I was experiencing was real. But spiritual confidence began when I stopped looking for someone else to give me permission of whom I was becoming. I started listening and paying attention. I started trusting the nudges, the whispers, the signs, the synchronicities, even if they freaked me out a little bit. And eventually, I started trusting myself. I learned that being confident in your spiritual walk doesn't mean you never have doubt. I had doubt last night. But it doesn't mean that you're never going to have doubt within yourself. It means I don't let the doubt make the decisions for me. You can be afraid and still take a step. You can be uncertain and still be open to listen. You can question the path but still keep on walking. Because confidence, it's not always a loud voice saying, I know exactly where I'm going. Sometimes it's a quiet voice that says, I don't know where this is leading me, but I trust myself enough to take the next step. I believe that this is where spiritual confidence begins. Not just in knowing, but in trusting yourself. I'm asking you to trust yourself and take the first step. To be open to listening to those inner whispers, the outcome. You'll be on the path to live the life that you love and to love the life that you live. And before I leave today, I want to remind you about the women's retreat that's coming up, a trip to Wonderland. Because a lot of us are right on the edge of Wonderland, but we don't know who we are. We don't know who to trust. I invite you all to come to Wonderland and seek the adventures and let Alice lead the way of the White Rabbit. I hope you have a magical, magical day. I will talk to you next week. I love you, and trust.